Hello and welcome to Over in the Town podcast preview. We're here with Mike and Dan from the Pompey Podcast. We're going to talk all about Portsmouth and what we can expect when we go down to Fratton Park at the weekend. Thanks for coming on, fellas. It's nice to have you back.
You're very welcome. Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. Let's start. Actually, you finished champions, didn't you, when you got promoted? You was top of the league. How did it feel to finally get back to the sort of the second tier?
Well, I'll kick off, Dan, if that's all right with you. The funny thing was, we were pretty comfortable all season. We only lost 5 games, obviously 97 points we finished on. But I'd say even going into the last 4 or 5 games, many Pompey fans were like, well, we've been here before. We're going to mess it up. We know we're going to mess it up. We're going to probably lose our last 4 or 5 games. And it wasn't until even in the Barnsley game when we eventually won the league, we were still 2-1 down in that game with 8 minutes to play, and we eventually ended up winning 3-2. But that's kind of the story of our season, isn't it? There's many games whereby we were up, backs against the wall, and we somehow pulled a result out of the hat. And I think that's kind of the character of the side last year, wasn't it? We won a few games with late goals. We got a few late points, and we tended to play well against the better sides, not so well against the poorer sides. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It was nice to get over the line. It was nice to win, and then obviously have a couple of games to relax in the last few weeks of the season.
Yeah, I don't know what that relaxing thing's about these days. It is nice when you have that sort of form, when you're playing that well, and you know that even on the bad days you're going to get a good result. It makes you really happy to support your team, doesn't it? So, you're getting to the end, you get promoted. You couldn't have had a better dream start, really. If you think about the Leeds game, you're going up to Leeds. Leeds are favourites, one of the favourites to be promoted from this division. They're a strong team. They missed out on promotion just in the playoffs last season. And you're thinking, well, what were you thinking? Were you thinking that we could go up there and get a result, or do you think you were just going up there just to see how it goes?
Yeah, I think the honest Pompey supporter, we all said that if we went there and got a point, we'd be very happy with that. Really happy with that. Just knowing that Leeds, one of the favourites, we knew it would be absolutely buzzing at Ellen Road. First game of the season, massive game. And then, to be honest, the first 5 minutes, we could have already been 2 or 3-0 down. They hit the woodwork 3 times already in that first 5 minutes. Then they got the penalty after 7 minutes, went 1-0 up. And it really did look like we were going to get absolutely battered. But then we sort of weathered the storm and went in front before half time to go 2-1 up. But yeah, it was a cracking game, really good to watch, and a really good test for us, I think.
Does that game sum up how you guys have performed previous season, and that's how you think when you're playing the bigger sides, in inverted commas, and don't take that disrespectfully because I don't mean it that way, but when you're playing the fancied people, do you think that you're going to go for it in that way again? Because you're right, you could have been 2-3 down in the first 10 minutes. I think on our podcast, one of our guys said you got battered 3-3, and I think that's a bit of an unfair adjustment, really. But you get that last minute penalty almost, and you're 3-2 up. You're going to win, aren't you? So, is there a?
You think so?
Yeah, it's Leeds United. It's your first game. Do you think you'll play the same at home as you did there against us? Do you think it'll be a different sort of setup for you guys?
I don't really think we have a different sort of setup. I think one thing any neutral watching the game would say there's a massive difference in quality of players. One thing Pompey had is we had work rate and we had resilience, and we took our chances. We had 4 shots, 3 on target, scored 3 goals. Leeds had a hatful of 22 shots, I think. They had 3 or 4 from 7 or 8 yards out, and blasted them over the bar, hit the crossbar, things like that. They should have scored 6 or 7 really. But one thing we didn't, with the exception of the first 10 minutes, is we had resilience. We worked really hard. We battled. And I think that's what we're going to bring to this season. Looking at what John Mousinho's brought to the side is, last year, if you look, we were difficult to beat. We didn't thrash many teams. We didn't thrash any team. I think we won a couple of games with 4 maybe. But most games were very close. But we got over the line, and that's what it's almost like first and foremost we go not to concede, and then secondly, we have that little bit of quality up front. The difference being is stepping up to the Championship, that quality up front is not the same level of quality that other teams have up front. It's it's a world apart. We're talking about potentially or refusing to spend £3 million on one of our best players last season, whereas I know other teams are talking about £7, £8, £9 million, and they're only mid-table teams in the Championship. So it's a world apart. But we're realistic, I think. What
are your expectations for Portsmouth this season? Is it just survive, or is it really push on? Do you, for instance, you look at Ipswich last season, straight up, straight through. What do you feel that your team can do?
I think first and foremost, it's survival. It's staying in this league. That's what we want. Is just to stay in the Championship. Hopefully, we can build on it and get some more players in. Like Mike said, we haven't actually made too many signings. We don't have a lot of funding for signings. I think first and foremost that it is to just stay in the league. If we can finish sort of mid-table in the top half, would be an absolute bonus. I think.
You don't want one of those seasons where it's the last game and you're hanging on and you need other results. So you want to put that one to bed real soon. And we've had so many of those. Talking of which, though, the last time we played each other, the last 4 times we played each other, 2 wins for us, 2 wins for you guys, no draws. So you know what that means, don't you? How do you think the game's going to go on Saturday?
Well, Dan informed me earlier today, actually, that it's always gone in the way of the home team over the last 4 games. So you've won your home games, we've won our home games. So hopefully that's a good omen for the weekend.
Damn it.
Well, we do a little prediction last night on our pod, didn't we, of what we thought? And I said I think it'll be another draw, but I think it'll be a high scoring draw. I think because you like to play attacking football. I'm hoping it'll be a good game.
The problem we have is that obviously we got absolutely demolished by Burnley the other night, and that was quite unexpected for us because, again, rightly or wrongly, because we got relegated last season from the Premier League, people have been looking at us, bookies, other fans of other clubs, saying actually Luton are stronger than they were when they got promoted and they should do well. And it was quite disappointing the way that we played against Burnley the other night. So I'm expecting a change from that. I'm expecting us to be on front foot. I'm expecting us to go for it. And I'm expecting us to make some chances. It just depends on firstly, your first home game back in this league in the Championship. It's going to be noisy, I know. It's going to be full. It's going to have a big atmosphere. There's quite a few Luton supporters coming down. So I don't know. I think if you get your head in front first, it could be a difficult day for us. Has anything changed from coming up? Have you said you haven't signed many people, but has anything changed style-wise, or is it just the same as it was the end of last season?
I think style-wise we're pretty similar. We have made some signings. We brought in a couple of players, and I think that the kind of strategy behind the signings has changed slightly. Last season we bought in, I think it's similar to yourself. I listened to your pod earlier and you were saying about how you made all your signings early last season and they're all pretty much in place by the beginning of pre-season. Likewise, we had signed 10 before pre-season. It was Mousinho's first full season in charge, and I think that was wise to do so. This year it's been a little bit more staggered. We've signed 9 still, but one's gone out on loan already. He was 18 and it was purely one for the future. The other one's a goalkeeper. But I'd say that the quality this year isn't quite the same. We brought in Josh Murphy, Matt Ritchie, both who are quality signings. But, Matt Ritchie obviously very proven at this level. Josh Murphy maybe not so much. So you don't really know how they're going to go as yet. Murphy's already injured, so that's...
Is that a bonus for us?
Possibly. He may play. He may be fit for the weekend. It's unlikely, but he may be fit for the weekend. Our biggest thing at the moment is actually we went into the Leeds game without 6 first-team players and still managed to get a point, which is good. But, our 2 first-choice centre-backs are currently out. We've got no one as a backup. We played with a right-back last night as a centre-back, and then we played with a second right-back in the second half as a centre-back. So I'm a little bit concerned for us defensively. But I do think we've got a good mix. We've got a good spine of leadership in the likes of Pack. I think Moxon's quite a strong leader. Then you've got Matt Ritchie's coming as well, who's quite good in the dressing room as well. And Shocknessy at the back, I think, is quite a leader. So I think it'd be similar to the game the weekend. I think it will be. We may have to weather a storm every now and then. And you've obviously got a lot of pace up front, haven't you, with your Adebayo? He's a fast fellow when he gets going, isn't he?
Elijah,
bit of a slow starter, but yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say Elijah up front when he's on form is a Premier League goal scorer. He's proved that last season. Carlton Morris, when he's on form, is a Premier League goal scorer for us. They both scored quite a lot of goals. No one expected him to get them. But they were a bit disappointing the other night, so we're hoping for a rebound off of that one. Who's the players in your team that we need to look out for again? Because we haven't played each other for a while. You sort of lose touch with who's in your team. So if you had to pick out a couple, who would you pick out for us, for Luton fans, to look out for and go, well, this is a guy you've got to be worried about?
I think it's difficult to say purely because we don't know who's going to be starting. We don't know who's coming back from injury, who's going to be playing on Saturday. But certainly Marlon Pack, who's the captain centre midfield, a lot of our play goes through him. He's a really good passer of the ball. He set up the first goal at the weekend with sort of a disguised pass to Sorensen up front. So definitely we do seem to go through Pack quite a lot. Silvera, he played last night. He looked okay on the wing. It's tricky, isn't it? Mike, do you think? Who would you think?
We've got the sort of players who on their day are really good, aren't they? But when they're off their day, they're kind of, we've got like Paddy Lane can be decent on his day. The problem is we've got our first two first choice strikers are both out, Yengi and Bishop. Obviously Bishop is probably out for the season with his heart issue. So we're playing with a striker who has never played in this level. He's come from the Danish third division. Fair play to him. He's had one shot. He scored one goal. So you can't ask for more than that, can you? But he's a little bit of an unknown, and whether he can make it through 90 minutes is a question mark. And then we have no other striker to bring in. So I think it'll be, if we're not ahead by 60 minutes or so, I think we'll struggle in the last half an hour to create much. And I think that was a problem last night against Millwall as well. We didn't create anything. We literally had no shots on target, which was a little bit of a question mark. But you've also got to think we were practically playing a second team of what is already a weak squad. So it'll be interesting. I think we'll battle. I think we'll create one or two chances. And I think it's whether we take our chances. And again, I think the difference being, I suppose, at the weekend, their keeper had a bit of a nightmare, whereas your keeper I think your keeper's quality, isn't he? Kaminsky, I think he's one of your standout players. And even though you lost 4-1 the other night, he was probably one of your better players on the night as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, I would have said on our pod the other night that he was, for me, one of the man of the matches, and it's ridiculous when you lose 4-1 that you think your goalkeeper's had a fantastic game. We're very sound in that department. It's nice to have a goalkeeper you can rely on now, and you don't worry about him catching crosses or punching crosses or making saves. So I'm quite excited. I think the last time we played each other, it was in the snow, wasn't it, at Kenilworth Road, and that's gone down in legends for us. We started really quick that night, and we had a really good quick spell. But I remember coming to your place, and really again, when you guys are at it, you're quick, you're fast, you played the ball quite well, you took your chance, and then we couldn't get through. So I'm expecting, and I might be wrong, but I'm expecting you guys to make a quick start, go for it, and then hopefully we weather the storm and then we can push on. Is that a fair assessment?
I hope so.
Listen,
what do you think, Dan?
Go on, Dan. Give us what you think.
Yeah, I mean, we said that a few times last season that we started slowly in quite a lot of our games. So when we come out really fired up, then we can if we can get an early goal, then I think it will make a difference. But as Mike said, if we haven't scored by sort of the hour mark, I would expect you just at least score.
Oh,
at least score a goal. So, yeah, I'm still going for that high scoring high scoring
draw.
High scoring draw. Look, I'm going to be honest. On our Monday night show, I became optimistic Dave, and I said we're going to batter you 2-0. I don't think that. I don't know that. I don't know. I'm hoping that, but all of my colleagues don't think it's going to be that simple, and maybe we're not going to win. So we'll see how that one goes. The dreaded score predictions, fellas. The dreaded score predictions of these prediction shows. Or what's your thoughts? So I've already been out there. I'm going to say 2-0, but I can't. I'm saying that with fingers crossed rather than with my head, I think. So I've got to stick by it because that's what I've said already. So Dan, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go with the 2-2 then, Mike. So that means that you have to say that we're.
I've got it even out, haven't I? Got it even out. Yeah. Well, I did say last night actually that we're gonna win 2-1, and I'm going to stick with that. I'm not confident of it, but I'm going to stick with it. But it does rely on us scoring early, I think.
We do our match analysis on a Monday night normally, and we'll be out on YouTube and on all our normal places. If our fans want to come on and see what you think, where do they need to look or listen?
Well, we're on YouTube and Spotify, our main platforms. But we're at Pompey Pod on YouTube. But we're also the same on Facebook and Twitter as well.
Thank you so much for coming on. I don't think there's really much more to say. I hope it's a great game. It's at 12:30, which is a bit of a pain in the backside. Let's be honest. I think we've got 3 o'clock kickoffs until December. Which is a bit
crazy.
It is crazy, but we'll take the money. Thank you for coming on, guys. If you haven't already been onto their site, go on, like and subscribe because everything helps us when we're creating content like this. And let's see where we end up. And maybe we'll invite you on for the next one. And I'd like to come on yours for the follow up when we come down when you come to Luton. Thanks for coming on, Violas.
Brilliant.
Thanks,
Dave.
Thanks for having us. Cheers.